Welcome to the squad. I'm Sam Ekstrom, Locked on Sports Minnesota. Harrison Phillips dealt. Why maybe you shouldn't freak out as much as you are.
Hey, this is Arif Hasan from Wide Left Football. Harrison Phillips dealt. You should freak out.
And I'm Luke Braun of Locked on Vikings. Harrison Phillips dealt. Say goodbye to the moment of Zen.
Skol! It's the Viking Squad, sponsored by Game Time. Everything Minnesota Vikings, every week. Breaking down all the big hits and game-changing plays from the land of 10,000 lakes, the way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. It's time to gear up. The Viking Squad Show starts now.
Welcome into the Viking Squad Show, streaming on Locked on Sports Minnesota, streaming on Locked on Vikings, audio posted on the Locked on Vikings podcast feed, wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much for joining us today. We do this every Monday, every Thursday after the games. Carol Evan Crew joins us on Wednesdays. It's a party just about all week long here at Locked on Sports Minnesota. You met Arif, you met Luke Braun. Luke Inman is out today. No, he didn't open up our lads. His computer's fine. He's visiting his parents. It's all good. And I'm Sam Ekstrom. Big show. Harrison Phillips traded to the New York Jets at about 6 p.m. last night. Got to break that down, as well as the rumor mill heating up with the wide receiver market. We talked about Adam Thelen a little tongue-in-cheek on Monday.
Yeah, and then so did Kay Adams. She stole your bit.
And it feels a little more real because of Kay Adams prodding the head coach.
Kay Adams watching the show. Hi, Kay. Hey.
Hey, Kay.
Hello.
Hey, let me back on your show, Kay. What's going on?
No, don't. Put me on instead.
There's also a preseason game on Friday that seems tertiary at this point with all that's going on in the trade world. Let's talk about Harrison Phillips. I wonder if anybody forecasted this at all happening perhaps on the 2nd of July on this show. The first place I look to areas of depth. Where do the Vikings have bodies that they could maybe afford to shed? I don't think anybody would like giving up this guy. But I look at the defensive tackle position, and I look at you've acquired Jonathan Allen. You've acquired Javon Hargrave. You have a couple of young guys in the pipeline. Jalen Redmond, he had a really good rookie year. Levi Drake Rodriguez is there as well. Maybe Harrison Phillips feels superfluous at this point. Maybe you don't think you need to have a third highly paid defensive tackle. Yeah, we pat ourselves on the back when we're right, and we rip ourselves when we're wrong. And Harrison Phillips.
Do that second part, Sam. Don't worry about the second part.
I think we should exclusively do the second part. But you know what? Good call.
We give Luke Braun his flowers when he correctly gets Najee Thompson, and we celebrate when we have the receipts. But Harrison Phillips goes to the Jets for a 6th this next year and a 6th, 7th swap the year after that. The Vikings eat half the salary, $3.7 million. They also save $9 or $10 million on next year's cap, which is exorbitant. They are dead last in cap space for next year, so maybe that plays into this. They could also be setting the table for a wide receiver trade. I had opposite of sticker shock. I was underwhelmed by the return. Then I went and I dug into trades from the last 5 years.
Yeah, and you looked at guys who are over 30 who have been traded.
It does not matter. Like even if you're on the upside, low side, veteran, if you're a defensive tackle who's not elite, like 5 best in the league, you're going for a 6th-round pick. I mean, like Ross Blacklock went for a 6th-round pick. Michael Brockers went for a 6th-round pick. Jonathan Hankins went for a 6th-round. Like Roy Robertson Harris, everybody goes for a 6th or a 7th or some kind of swap with a 6th and a 7th. That is the going rate, and it doesn't vary unless you are DeForest Buckner, who went for a 1 back in 2020. That is the last time
few options
it's the last time I can find a defensive tackle getting traded.
I'm actually less okay with it now that you've listed all of those trades, because it's like, no way is admittedly old and heavy contract Harrison Phillips worth the same as Ross Blacklock. That's nuts.
Yeah, it's a consistent market inefficiency. And you don't want to be on that side of the market inefficiency,
yeah, right.
which is a reason like not to do it. But your logic from July is why, right? Like they have 8 rosterable defensive tackles. Somebody rosterable had to leave the team. And I wonder if they were just trying to find a way to turn that into the most assets. But yeah, there's a concern that now if there's only 2 guys on the roster right now that are over 305 on defense. And one of them is Travis Bell.
Yeah.
And the other was Taki Taimani.
Yeah, so we talk about like nose tackles, and it's essentially just Taki Taimani and Levi Drake Rodriguez, but he is 290 pounds, Levi Drake Rodriguez, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, he's a nose tackle, but like Jalen Redmond and LDR are the exact same weight, at least listed.
Jalen Redmond's the one taking the reps, by the way. He's the one who took the reps in practice with Harrison Phillips out all week mysteriously, and we thought he was just banged up, but it turned out that
that just feels like, I don't know, man. That feels fake and like they're messing around. That just feels so like, no way Jalen Redmond is a nose, right?
I'm not sure Harrison Phillips is a true nose either. He played mostly B gap. He was not like a Linval Joseph nose in that sense. That was almost
he was a 0 for us for like in every base. He was the one head up on the center. So
yeah, when you had 3, he'd play 0.
Yeah.
The finest Harrison Phillips moment in his 3 years as a Viking. I think Arif quote tweeted this.
Yeah.
Probably his work against the center on the epic Josh Allen fumble play in 22, where who knows exactly what caused it, but the pressure that Phillips applied on the center on that play may have rushed the exchange. I'm just saying. I think that we can attribute that fumble.
I think that he probably played a role in it. Also, he shifts right before the snap. He understood what the snap count was going to be, and he's first off the line. And I love him, but like he's not first off the line if everyone's reacting to the same thing at the same time, right? He clearly had figured it out and guessed correctly. And I think that played a pretty big role in that crazy fumble in that insane game, truly bonkers game that kind of defies our ability to understand the sport. Thank you.
I think one of the sneaky biggest stories in camp has been Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins. The way that, like, I think just about everybody on the local beat at some point has either a note in a notebook or a tweet or something that's like, hey, they kind of like really love this dude.
They him.
They love this dude.
I don't actually super get it, if I'm being honest. So I like the
if you go to patreon.com/LukeBrownNFL, there's a video on Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins. I get it. After watching him, I get it. It's I don't see like superstar, but I definitely see like you're really happy to put that guy in when he's fresh legs.
When we were discussing the depth of this defensive tackle group, we were kind of scratching our head at times and saying, man, this is really going to represent a snap reduction for everyone if they're trying to get somewhat close to a normal Jonathan Allen workload, a normal Javon Hargrave workload. Like everyone's going to have to sacrifice, including the guys they brought in. They're all going to be taking a 25% snap reduction. Now, what is the pie chart now? What is the pie chart next to the 2 mainstays, Hargrave and Allen, among, and again, this probably clears a path for Taki. This clears a path for Elijah Williams if you want him. Between Redmond, TID, LDR, Taki, Elijah, how are you splitting it up?
Yeah, I don't know, actually, if I'm being completely honest, because I need to know kind of what the plan is with, first down run stopping stuff. Like it's a mystery to me because, as we were just talking about, like they're playing guys who at one point in their careers played defensive end at nose, right? So it really depends on like if they think of like, how often they need a true nose. So then we'll actually see quite a few Taki Taimani snaps, or whether or not they think, having a quote unquote true nose isn't that important, that they're going to be, 4 up front instead of 5. And so you're going to get people kind of in the 1 or even shaded over the guard. In which case it makes a little bit more sense to have Jalen Redmond or LDR out there, right? I think most likely, the most direct beneficiary of, the available snaps now is going to be Taki Taimani because of that. But I feel there's so much uncertainty about kind of what this is going to look like.
They could still keep 7. I think we had them keeping 7 before and probably dropping Taki or Elijah, and they still probably keep 7, I think they all have a case to make. How about the thoroughness of the interior makeover? They literally go 6 for 6 with new starters, interior D-line, interior O-line.
Oh, I hadn't even thought about that. That's wild.
Yeah. I mean, when the games they lost last year, not being able to get pressure up the faster gaps, having to go all the way up and around, and that's slower, and the quarterbacks can get the ball away.
Dude, they're still sending outside. They're still sending outside corners on blitzes. I'm losing my mind on some of these.
Yeah, like that happened, but like the inability to just like beat a guard and get upfield from like Jonathan Bullard and Harrison Phillips. The fact that you didn't have that tool was like a big issue in those games. So it makes sense. They also, I think, if you want to talk about the pie chart, I think some of this interior stuff goes to Dallas Turner, the 3 edge rusher package that they've been flirting with. It gets a little easier to run that when you're not going, okay, but which D tackle are we taking off the field?
Yeah. Especially if you're giving Allen and Hargrave more time up front on first and second down, it is just a little bit easier to convince yourself, like to put Dallas Turner out there, have him play. If in a previous normal defense, we'd call it like a spinner role, right? The defensive tackle, defensive end, kind of that you can move. It's a Darius Smith's role essentially. In this one, it's just, I don't know, man. It's psycho defense. Just go out there, do some stuff.
Yeah. Josh Metellus' role is called the X-Man, by the way.
Yeah, that rules.
Yeah,
they're kind of positionless football, right? Positionless football is it's certainly the Flores methodology. It's increasingly becoming the methodology of the whole league, where safeties can kind of play some linebacker and some nickel, and defensive lines are interchangeable, and linebackers can cover, and edge rushers can cover. That's just the way of it. Viking 12-8-86. I'm guessing that's a significant date in that person's life. Best Vikings O-line, D-line combination since. Do we like the offensive line any year of the Zimmer era enough to say, okay, probably not.
I'm thinking like 09 might be the best comparison at this point.
James agrees with that, and I think he's right. Yeah, 09, where you had. Can you name all 9 guys? So offensive line would be Loadholt, or I'm sorry, left tackle would be McKinney,
Loadholt on the outside,
Hutchinson,
Sullivan,
Herrera, Loadholt, D-line, Allen, Edwards.
Williams, Ray Edwards. Yeah.
Yep.
Ray Edwards, man.
Who was their third edge that year?
Wasn't it Robinson?
Robinson.
It was Robinson.
No, Robinson would have been. Yeah. So Robinson was arguably the starter, and Edwards was kind of the third, I think.
No. I think
Edwards was the starter. Robinson was a rookie.
Edwards was mad because Robinson got a bigger contract extension that he was going to get with the Vikings. That was like one of the storylines, and so he goes to Atlanta, gets a reasonably large contract extension, does nothing with it. And Robinson has like a legendary-ish career.
Draft pick capital. Getting kind of exciting. So with the Daniel Jones news, you're now looking at a 1, a 2, 2 3s, depending on the Cam Robinson comp, which is that's conditional. Could be 2 4s or 2 5s. Now you've got 2 6s and a 7. You're probably looking at 9 or 10 draft picks.
It's the opposite of last year. Yeah,
very much the opposite of last year. Could be draft picks going out, though, with a potential wide receiver deal. We'll get into that. But losing the guy, Harrison Phillips, losing the lead, this is a classic. Man. This is a classic. It's not personal, it's business kind of move. You don't trade captains willy-nilly. He was an unfortunate casualty. And typically you wouldn't look at the 29-year-old as a cap casualty when he's under a pretty fair deal. He's pretty effective, but
and he rules as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, the Vikings are the oldest team in the league by projected starters, right? I mean, obviously it depends on who's projecting the starters, but the point is well received, right? Regardless of whether or not they're number 1 or number 2. And so I don't know that I would say you need it to get younger, but I think getting younger is opportunity that you take when it's available to you, and you do it at positions where you have a lot of depth and can rotate guys in and out, right? And so defensive tackle is kind of one of those areas where it's like, hey, love you, but we got to get younger, right? I don't think the Vikings are in any crisis when it comes to managing their locker room on either side of the ball. I don't think that there's any lack of, dedicated, experienced locker room guys that have the ability to guide the team. And so I think that plays a role in the way that they think about, making these trades. But I think for the Vikings, we talk about trading at positions where you have a lot of depth. You could also think of leadership as an area where they probably have, depth, where they've got the ability to lose a little bit there and still not lose a ton of ground. Whereas a younger team really doesn't have the ability to trade away its older players in the same capacity.
This really snuck up on me. The Vikings are now, per over the cap, $65 million in the red on next year's salary cap. That may not take into account yet the Phillips.
It does not. Yeah, it's
like
so
Phillips 56, 50, 58, whatever the number is. It's and I'm sure Kwesi's got a plan. What is the path to be cap compliant next year? Like, what is it? Is it like
if you click all of good? If you go to over the cap and where it says cut, change it to restructure and do that for like all the contracts and just look at what the numbers are, it starts to make sense.
Yeah, it's a lot of flexibility on the guaranteed.
Fake money in there.
Yeah.
If you give O'Neal one more extension, that could get his number down significantly.
Yeah. But a lot of
James
Kuhn,
that takes into account an estimation of what the cap raise is.
Does it also take into account the carryover? Is my other question.
Yes. They do a very good job of accounting for stuff like carryover and future dead and stuff like that. But I mean, what I really like, and I think Fitzgerald does this, Jason Fitzgerald, who runs over the cap, is that every so often he releases a chart ranking teams by flexibility, which is to say which teams have the ability to convert upcoming cap hits, like next year's cap hits, into restructured deals. So if someone is guaranteed, a $20 million base salary next year, what you could do is you could convert that into a $1 million base salary and have $19 million of that turned into a signing bonus. So that about 4.75, I don't know, I'm not doing math, is against the cap that year. So in that way, you go from 20 million to 5.75 or whatever million. And you've just from one player who you're not paying any differently, who is not receiving a different cash flow, now has freed up about 15 million, 14 million in cap space for you. And I really like that approach that Fitzgerald takes sometimes when he talks about flexibility and ranks teams by the amount of money that they have the ability to convert and where they can free up that available cap space. And the Vikings are pretty high on that list, I would imagine.
Would definitely have to be a factor if they acquire a wide receiver. We're going to talk to a wide receiver from the State Fair. His name's Ron Johnson. Next.
Suit up, Ron.
We are brought to you today by FanDuel. We are 5 days away from August 26th, and that, my friends, is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions, whether you're calling the MVP, eyeing long shot division winners, putting together a parlay, or crowning your Super Bowl champ before week one even kicks off. This is your moment. I like about a 4-team division winner parlay. Even if they're relative favorites, I like stacking those up. And that gives you a little entertainment from September all the way through December. Hold on to your tickets or, the digital screenshot of your ticket. So take some flyers, win some money. Visit the FanDuel app today. Start planning your future bets now because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel. Play your game. We had Ron. We lost Ron. He's trying to call in from the fair. There he is. I'll give him a minute.
Did Kwesi call him?
To get set up. Say what?
Did Kwesi call him?
Maybe. To join the receiving corps. That almost, the panic there for an hour.
It's not the receiver from Minnesota that you think.
Before Seifert calmed the storm, the tweets about a banged up Felton and a banged up Addison at yesterday's physical practice for the Vikings. Also a banged up Okuda, I think. People were panicking. Then the report from Seifert, the receivers are okay from yesterday. Still doesn't answer the Jalen Naylor question. And the rumor mill certainly heating up in the wide receiver market. Tom Pelissero stoking the fire yesterday, said the Vikings are interested. The 49ers are interested. I think they acquired Sky Moore. There was another wide receiver trade as well. And there's some big names floating around. Ron Johnson will join. He's our favorite receiver. He's at the Great Minnesota Get-Together. Ron,
row that boat.
Yeah, great position there. I think you got the PJ Flex show today. He's sporting the Gophers. How's the vibe? How's the vibe out there?
It's absolutely chaotic and hectic. I did not expect it to be this busy. I am very thankful for the Flex show, the Gophers. I got into the gate was closed for parking, but I pulled up, showed them my credential for the Gophers. This lady right here is about to bump my camera. She's so unaware that I'm literally on the tripod right behind her. But the Gophers, I showed the guy my credential, and then he let me in to the back door of the entrance of the parking lot. So I was able to get in, no trouble. So I've been sitting here for about 10, 15 minutes taking in the sights. I had a lady that's going on. She, I guess, did some wellness drips for the Gophers. So she asked me if I could do one live on air. I'm not sure, but I might take a wellness B12 drip or something, but we'll see.
Drip? Like what?
It's the IV,
IV?
So they do the IV
Okay.
drips, and they put like B12 in it. They can put vitamin C in it. They could do just straight up electrolytes. I guess some of the players, just the fair set over here is sponsored by this company, which is called Wellness Drip. They are licensed doctors and nurses, and they are able to go out to teams now with NIL and all this stuff. I think they found a niche to say, hey, let's also, on the side of our main business, let's go out to the fair and let's get some live drips. Yeah.
Adjacent to that, Ron, there was a big story about smelling salts getting banned in the NFL last week. Were you a smelling salts guy?
No, not really. I did every once in a while if it was super early in the morning. Other than that, I use the natural high of I know a touchdown's coming eventually, so I was good. In the NFL, I will say a couple times I did do it before kickoff. I do understand why guys do it before kickoff because it wakes you up. Like it prepares you to go head to head with an absolute nut job, trying to bust the wedge or trying to come through, bring the wedge towards you. So yeah, it was, but they don't have wedges anymore. So it's a totally different game. So maybe that's why they got rid of smelling salts.
Yeah. By the way, Ron's earphone cancellation is unbelievable. I can't hear
crazy.
a thing. I can't
it is crazy.
It sounds like you're muted. It's unbelievable.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. I won't give any shout outs because they're not paying for me to wear these, but
that's right.
Yeah, I got the camera guy right here getting me on. We got 5 camera shots. But yeah, no, I can't give any free promotion, but yeah, these are the new headphones I went and picked up because I dropped my other ones out the car. So how you set stuff on top of the car as you're packing the car and then you just drive off? Yeah, I did that with my headphones. And so I drove off.
National Lampoon's Vacation stuff, man.
Yep. And did not realize it until I needed to actually do this show. And I'm like, where are my headphones at? And I'm like, you know what? I bet I dropped them at the park. And I drove back to the park. Yep. In the middle of the street, run over by cars. My headphones were wrecked. What's funny though? The charging case actually held up. So they did say the charging case, you can run over with a car. Very true. You could. Not the headphones though. The headphones didn't make it. So yeah, so I was able to so I went and bought some new ones. And yeah, these I told the guy what the purpose of it was, and he was like, yeah, you want these. And yeah, I'm glad they work. Because last time I was on for the first postcast, Sam was saying I had an echo, and now we're good to go.
Yeah, we are set. Before we talk wide receivers, let's get your thoughts on the Harrison Phillips deal that dropped last night. What do you think?
It's tough when you lose a guy like that in the community. Like I tell you, it's tough when you become friends with these guys. You get to know these guys. You chat them up about just not football stuff, but off the field stuff. So on that aspect of it, tough because he was a big part of youth football in the area. He and I talked a bunch about tackle football and how he was doing a lot of tackle football stuff. So I think that was the tough thing for me. From a football aspect, I get it. Again, he signed a huge extension. You look at Javon Hargrave, you look at Jonathan Allen, clearly they're okay with their health. And then I think the other guys waiting in the wings, whether it's Jalen Redmond, whether it's Tyron Ingham-Dawkins, whether it's Taki Tamani, I think they feel like they've got, and Levi Drake Rodriguez, I think they feel like they have enough young talent to go with the older talent that they didn't need a guy like Phillips. and probably to clear a little cap space, maybe for a receiver to sign.
You gave the pitch yesterday for Odell Beckham Jr. I've also heheard some rumors. I don't know if it's been linked to the Vikings, but Terry McLaurin possibly available last year.
No way, dude.
Terry McLaurin does want to trade. We talked about this yesterday, though, on the squad show, that I don't know if that dollar value is worth it. Also, he wanted to leave because he's not happy with his positioning as wide receiver 1. With 1 being Deebo Samuel. So I don't know if there's some bad blood somewhere in there. But I will say, like, he has asked to get out. A lot of times we never know what the answer is behind the scenes. So there could be other stuff behind the scenes that both parties are keeping quiet. The Commanders in the past have had some terribleness going on, but the ownership group has changed. So I hope that it's nothing like that. As in the past, we've seen the grades from the Commanders family and travel stuff was an F. I know Magic Johnson and that group came in and tried to make huge changes. So I hope it's more on the field stuff and maybe just players not really understanding or getting along with the way the thing is set up now. So we'll see. But I mean, the other thing I'd say, if he does come to the Vikings, if they did clear the cap space with Harrison Phillips, it's a 1 to 2 year deal. Or maybe they know, like, let's go Terry McLaurin, Justin Jefferson, and then Jordan Addison in a couple years is, he's not going to get the extension.
Terry seems like a bridge too far. I think it's just like that's. I mean, the trade compensation would be high, but in particular, his contract ask would be particularly high, and you would probably sacrifice the ability to extend Addison, and Addison's a lot younger. So I don't know. That's a really interesting case because that feels awesome, right? Terry next to Justin Jefferson, but without that, right? Like, what are like the legitimate options that feel like really realistic, right? Kay Adams and Sam of the same mind mentioned Adam Thelen. But also, like, we've seen like already some wide receiver trades get bandied about. Like, I'm glad the Vikings didn't give up a 4th round for Deshaun Veely, but like there are probably some more reasonable wide receiver trades out there. What's kind of hitting your mind?
Honestly, like with a suspension, it could be an Addison for a McLaurin. Like I don't rule that out as an option. Again, when there's smoke, there's fire. I know a lot of people kept saying, with the Addison issues off the field, the other stuff, with the Vikings organization and a type of like way they want to, view their organization and their team. Maybe, they want to move on from Addison. I don't think that that's the answer, but again, I'm not the GM and this is not my business to run. But as a private equity firm, you want to put the best foot forward. If you feel like Justin Jefferson, Terry McLaurin, long-term, with the Jalen Naylor and TJ Hawkinson is better for your brand than a Jordan Addison, who has shown disinterest at times, has been told, we need to stay in this and free 3 and all that stuff about him not getting the ball all the time, staying connected to the game all the time. I mean, that's realistic. I think Adam Thielen is realistic, but again, that's a 1 year thing, 1 to 2 year. I think Adam Thielen is playing year to year now at this point. So kind of like Harrison Smith, like, do you understand what's going on with that? Can you understand where you're going to be? And then the next step of that would be to be able to move on and then see if there's like a Amari Cooper. Again, there's no trade needed for that. A little bit older. So,
Braun, what do you got?
Why do people care about what Jordan Addison's college motto is? I never get it, man. The free 3. He had a chain on when he got drafted. Yeah. Why? Like, he's asking for a trade when he says that. Why are people still mad? The organization knows that, right?
Right. Yeah, his dad does that. So his dad sits there and, tweets that stuff out. So it might be a college motto, but just like Keyshawn Johnson would give me the damn ball, it carried him through college and the NFL as well. So, I think that's the key to this is, it's his thing. It's his thing. It's his roar, I guess. It's his lion call to kind of get going. So, yeah, no, I don't think. I mean, I just think like the when you tweet it out at certain situations, just the crypticness of it. Receivers have had a history of cryptic tweets, and I think that's where the fans don't understand that.
But the fans don't understand that, but they're not making the trades,
right? Yeah.
Hey, but if you're Jordan Addison, why
are we as men telling men what roars they can't have, man?
Like it's still his job to have awareness about the situation and how things are perceived. Like I'm not entirely.
If you're a wide receiver, no, it's not. That's not your job. Your job is never to be aware. You can't.
No. Your job is to catch the ball, which he's really good at. I want to be on record to say that if they let Jordan Addison go because he got a DUI 2 years before this mattered, and he says free three sometimes. They're idiots. That's insane. That dude's really good. That'd be an idiotic move.
Right.
Don't be an idiot.
The chemistry has been undeniable in camp. Ron, you've probably seen it. Like, it sounds like Addison's just been scorching people out there.
Yeah. Him and JJ McCarthy, I think, have a uncanny ability to make plays. They seem like, again, Justin Jefferson's been out, so they're on the same page nonstop. I think the first 4 passes of that Patriots practice, every pass went to Jordan Addison, to the point where you saw Vrabel kind of looking over like, wait, is somebody going to cover number 3?
You got
it. So 3 was free for most of training camp with the Patriots. So yeah, him and DJ McCarthy have a knack for finding each other, like more so than him and Hockenson. You know what I mean? Like it was Addison all day, all long. Now, is that those same routes though? Is that the Justin Jefferson spot? Because we know when Justin Jefferson's out, Addison takes on wide receiver 1. So again, is that just JJ McCarthy going with his reads, and then that's going to be Justin Jefferson moving forward?
Ron, you know Adam Thelen, you know Blake, you know people in the organization. If a Thelen reunion is in the works, do you think that there were any bridges, maybe not burned, maybe not that fell down, but bridges that were damaged at all in the
neglected bridges?
Process? Yeah.
No, it's a business, and so we had him on our show, Sam. So you remember that when it first happened. He said Adam didn't want to be a $10 million decoy, but what was that, 4 years ago? And after you go through trauma of the Panthers, and you have to deal with a rookie quarterback, and then Sam Darnold without KOC, like there's a lot of stuff you go through. Sometimes after trauma, you realize it's like breaking up with your girlfriend that's really consistent. And maybe you have kids, and the kids become like the focal point for a little bit, and you think like, oh, let me go find something else, and then you get there and realize that she is the most toxic second thing you've ever found. And you're like, hey, can you take me back, babe? Like, I think that's what it becomes sometimes too. Is like you feel like it's the grass is greener on the other side, and it's not. I think Adam Thielen's done a great job, and Kevin O'Connell said he's done a great job with the Panthers and that young core, and just trying to stay level headed. But I will say, if he has a chance to play with JJ McCarthy and Justin Jefferson, I don't see him saying no to that if the dollars match. And he lives in Minnesota. He's from Minnesota. His family is comfortable in Minnesota. So, no, I don't think there's any bridges burned, because, again, there's one way to do it, and then there's Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen never said anything. His team said it, and that's his agent, that's his marketing people, but Adam never actually said it. So,
Adam knows the game. Adam
does a good job of not saying things that would get him in trouble. He lets his wife and others do that.
Yeah, he didn't tweet anything out. He didn't Instagram post anything. Yeah, let your family do it. Let your agent do it. He didn't do it.
Commenter wants you to ask the nice lady beside you what she thinks of the interior defensive line depth.
Please do not accost random fairgoers on behalf of a podcast.
Well, you missed it. Like there was one guy standing like right here, so you probably couldn't see him. He was like literally cell phone out, zoomed in. I don't know if he was trying to post some hot takes on his Instagram or something. Like he was like zoomed in.
Oh, we lost you.
Oh, it was going really well.
Oh,
you got a call. You back?
Got me? I'm back?
Yeah, you're back.
Came in. And when you think about the way the guy was standing there, I literally was like I don't know if he was trying to ask me a question, but I don't know if he could see my headphones either. I don't know if he thought I was watching something, if I was recording other people. I'm like, dude, I am literally live on a show right now. But yeah, and then after whatever,
he's gone now, so
he's gone now. After 5 minutes, he stood up for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, he put his phone away and kind of walked up with an attitude. So I was like, all right.
All right. Okay.
Ron had Diana Rossini on the Ron Johnson show on Tuesday, so check that out. He also had quick interviews with Thayer Thomas and Miles Price, a couple of guys competing for a roster spot. So good show on Tuesday.
We're Instagram official now. Diana's following me, and her sister, because her sister was one of the questions about who would she not want her sister to date, or who would she not want to date her sister in the NFL. So her sister is now following me as well on Instagram. So
the answer was Stephon Diggs still, right?
Yeah, Stephon Diggs still.
Well, she kind of did Diggs first, but then she joked, and then she said, well, this is kind of why he's a great guy, blah, blah. She said, but he has a way with women. But she did say Jimmy Garoppolo because Jimmy Garoppolo looks better than her sister. And her sister sent me a DM saying, I disagree.
Outstanding.
I wasn't sure if she would. I'm not sure if she was disagreeing that Jimmy G looks better than her, or that she wants Jimmy G. I wasn't sure what she was disagreeing
to. Yeah.
So.
Leave that up to interpretation. Let
however you want to take that one.
Yeah.
That's go find that clip on Twitter, Instagram. Thanks a lot, Ron. Have fun at the fair. Have fun with PJ Fleck, and we'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it looks like the Gophers. We just got the message. Gophers are starting to roll in now, so we'll be in about 25 minutes. So I'm gonna try to get Coy Parrish for the show on Tuesday next week. So when Coy comes over, I'll try to sit down with him here and get a quick interview, maybe at the fair. Hopefully before we go live on air. So should be a good one. At least somebody. I already had Drake Lindsay. Already had Darius Taylor. So try to get Coy. Maybe get 3 questions with PJ too. So we'll see.
That'd be great. Yeah, Gophers football 1 week from today. Thanks a lot, Ron.
All right, appreciate it. Yeah, Thursday night, what is it, 7 p.m. kickoff. We'll be live 6 to 7 p.m. in front of the stadium. And then, of course, the postcast. Stay up with us that night because hopefully it's a Gopher W on Drake Lindsay's first night out, 350 yards. Let's go.
All right. I love it.
Or good Darius stuff. Taylor's going to go for 180. Like, it's one of the two.
Go eat a corn dog for us.
Yeah. I don't know if I do corn dogs. I'm gonna do the corn, and then I'm going to do a slushy over here.
All right, the corn's great. Fantastic.
That sounds good, too. Enjoy yourself.
All right.
We'll pause and then return with maybe a little more receiver talk, plus wacky predictions from preseason game number 3 next. We are brought to you today by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, investments. When you don't have the full picture, you end up leaving money on the table. Maybe you've bounced around jobs and you have 401ks in like 6 different places and they're not consolidated. Maybe you have 4 different credit cards and the expenses are coming out of all these different pots and you need them all in one place. Well, Monarch Money is your one-stop shop, easy to use interface. They do all the heavy lifting. They link all the accounts. They show all the transactions. They categorize those transactions if you want them to. So get clear data visuals, smart categorization. You can share it with a partner or spouse, and you can track your finances together. I use it. I have it. I love it. It's Monarch Money. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNFL. Quickly on Thelen, and thanks to the everydayers who tune in all week, by the way, on the squad show. We appreciate you. I think the compensation on Thielen's like a 5th or 6th round pick. I mean, the 6th you just got might be what you give right back to get Adam. DeAndre Hopkins cost a 5th round pick when he was 32 years old. Adam Thielen's not going for more than that. It's 1 year. It's low liability. He understands the offense. And you know what? In 10 games last year, he was not bad, you guys. In fact, I would say he was still like a top 25 receiver in the league. Super efficient. He was more than a 2-yard per route run guy with no yak. Like he's not a yak guy anymore. Still super efficient in a bad quarterback situation, in a bad organization. I still think that he's got some game, and I think we got a little bit down on his last year in Minnesota. I still think that he was playing hurt the whole year. I mean, he did not look right to me all of 2022.
Well, he didn't look right, but it was difficult to tell whether or not that was age or injury.
And I don't think he's looked that way in Carolina when he's been on the field. Now, he did have the injury last year, missed 7 games. I think there's something there. I don't think this is totally ridiculous for this deal to happen. Even though there are free agents that you don't have to give up draft capital for. I get that. I think Thelen actually makes a lot of sense. You're gonna have to continue to talk me down on this one.
There's a lot of, like, Kevin Seifert has talked about it. Matthew Collar talked about it on his show. Tom Pelissero has mentioned like this possibility. So like, there's definitely a lot of smoke.
Probably some smoke. Yeah.
Yeah. My hang up is, why would Carolina do this? Like, are they trying to get rid of him?
They got first round picks. They don't
even like one of them.
Yeah, I don't like.
I don't know. Not like a first round pick after 1 year. I mean,
ask the 2023 Minnesota Vikings about Lewis Cine.
Ask Josh Rosen.
Yeah, yeah, right. No, So I just emailed during the show. I emailed Julian Council, who does Locked On Panthers, because I want to get to the bottom of like how Carolina feels.
Right, yeah. They love Jalen Coker. That's got to be.
They love Jalen Coker, and it sounds like Ted McMillan's having a good camp. So there's that. Yeah. But like last year, Thelen was Bryce Young's favorite target, and I think he was the year before that too, right?
Yeah, notably, I want to say in both of those years, Thelen was playing in the slot at a 70% clip, something he never did in Minnesota. His most like slot dominant year in Minnesota was 50%. But I wonder if, I mean, obviously he trusts Thelen a lot as like a player, but I wonder if also some of it just has to do with the way the offense is designed to go through the slot.
Yeah, like the most important thing for Carolina right now is Bryce Young developing properly. And I feel like taking away the veteran leadership outlet type guy that they are, I feel like are relying on to facilitate that development. And then instead, here's two young guys, and one of them didn't even play well last year. Just feels like something they're not going to do for a 5th round pick. And if you're right, Sam, that like they probably can't demand more, but that just tells me, okay, then no. I don't really see the motivation for Carolina to do it. If the Vikings could pull it off, I would be thrilled. That would be awesome. It feels way too good to be true.
Yeah, I'm looking at this receiver depth chart again just to see if I'm missing something, and I don't know that they've got the depth either for that kind of thing, right? Like, you know, the Vikings just traded Harrison Phillips. The Vikings had tremendous defensive tackle depth. Mm-hmm. I'm not like over the moon about Jacoby George or David Moore, right? If you could be excited about Hunter Renfrow, but at that point, like, what are we doing?
Like Luigi asked about the money. I'm not sure it's a huge factor because number one, if you want a receiver to come in, you have to pay them money, right? So unless it's Brandon Powell, you're going to have to pay a few $1 million of money. Yes, it'll subtract from your carryover to next year's cap, but this is an expiring contract. You have the cap space to fit it in this year. I don't think the money is the be all end all.
Yeah, and Carolina is going to absorb a good amount of like what you just brought up, Luigi. So it's not a huge deal, honestly.
Which is another like if Carolina's like trying to clear money, maybe that's the deal. But
are they?
They have 19 mil them? No, they have 19 mil themselves. I don't get it. I don't know. and they're
go ahead.
They've got about average cap space next year too. So like, I don't know if it's going to be about that. So like, you're going to call Carolina and be like, hey, give us a 5th and also we'll give you a 5th and please take on a bunch of money. Can we have your really important veteran receiver that's vital to your quarterback's development? Why are they saying yes to that?
What if they said, we'll take all the money? I think that's the...
Why are they saying yes to that?
I don't know. They're tired of Caitlin. Cooper and Tyreek
in Carolina. better culture fit there, I think.
The Tyreek contract is untenable, non-starter. Cooper is not actually retired. That was a rumor that kind of went wild. I think I'd prefer Beckham, though. I think if KOC
who is also not retired.
Yeah. Hey, longevity doesn't need to be a thing, right? You just need him for 2 weeks. And then his ACL can do whatever it wants.
Yeah, like I mean, because if they bring him in,
you say that, but you remember when the Vikings grabbed like Jake Long, right? And
they got 2 weeks. All they needed. That's all we needed. Everybody is saying Alec Pierce a lot.
There's a ton of Alec. Well, so Alec Pierce, I think makes sense for like a lot of reasons. I just don't know if there's any steam, but I think that it's hard to take a look at a situation that it was hard to take a look at the Colts situation and not conclude that like Alec Pierce might actually be a viable option. The problem I think here is that we're talking about guys that have like a history of production that feel reliable in some way, right? Like I know you think Odell Beckham, stability is not the first thing that comes to mind, but I think he's a reliable receiver, right? Amari Cooper drops aside, a reliable receiver, right? Alec Pierce is like not Adam Thielen, right? They're the two, despite the fact that Alec Pierce almost certainly drew Adam Thielen comparisons in the draft. They are not remotely the same receiver. So I would be kind of surprised if they took a flyer on a player that feels like he's got a lot less predictability in his outcomes like Alec Pierce.
All right. Wacky preseason game number 3 predictions and our preseason fantasy waiver claims leading up to the game.
This
is huge.
This is huge.
Vikings play football tomorrow, actually, in Tennessee. Preseason game number 3. Can they finish the preseason above 500? That's the big storyline. I am expecting and predicting like the ultimate muddying of the waters. I just feel like every bubble player is going to do something like equal parts great and equal parts stupid. So Miles Price probably breaks off a great kick return and then like celebrates too early and fumbles the ball at the 1-yard line. Like that type of, not like Xavier Scott will rush for 100 yards and then he'll miss 3 pass pro reps. I think it's just going to make things even more complicated for this 53-man cutdown. That's my anticipation for tomorrow because it's the 3rd preseason game and you're going to have 3rd-string dudes playing 60 snaps and dumb stuff is going to happen.
Let's go. No, Miles Price is certainly going to do some dumb stuff. If he, like, dude, his last game, just from a mistakes perspective, I mean, obviously the kick returns were fantastic, but from a mistakes perspective, were incredible. I didn't know this until Matt. Is it Freeze or Fries? I've never asked him.
He's Freeze.
Yeah, okay.
Like
Fleece. Oh, like,
but it's Fries when Will Fries is like put him in the bag.
Right. Yeah. So Matt Freeze, that's so Dutch. Okay, Matt Freeze. I don't know if he is Dutch, but that's like a very Dutch. I actually don't know anything about that. I'm just going to assume I'm
Dutch names.
Some new stereotypes.
Dutch names end in M-A. So like toss.
Like
yep. Exactly.
Okay, but that tangent aside, I already lost my point. No, yeah, Miles Price. I think I didn't notice this until Matt Freeze pointed this out. I think Miles Price was one reason they only had 10 men on the field on one of the busted plays that needed a receiver in the flat, and there was nobody there. And so the next play is the one where he incurs a penalty. He runs on the field late, which is why I think he's the missing one, or why Matt thinks he's the missing one. So that's 2 mistakes in a row. And then you've got the other mistakes that he's made throughout. Like, that's practice squad material, right? Maybe. So that alone is going to be really fun to watch, to see all these kinds of mistakes. But then we're going to get all other kinds of mistakes, probably some special teams mistakes. It's going to be a fun one.
Who do they bubble wrap? TBD screen name. Wondering about Redmond, LDR, Taki. Who will get?
Yeah, one of the defensive tackles will suddenly find themselves.
Yeah, I think Redmond's already bubble wrapped.
Yeah, that's fair.
His role on the team is pretty set. I think Levi Drake Rodriguez and Taki Taimani are competing for the same role, so I think they'll go compete. Elijah Williams will go compete. Tierney and Dawkins might, just to get tread on the rookies' tires, you might get him in a little bit, but I don't know if he has to a lot. Here's something fun, though. So I asked Tyler Rowland about this. He does Locked on Titans, and we do Locked on NFL together on Wednesdays. The Titans are playing everybody. They're playing the whole first team. It's going to be like the Patriots game again. Where we've got,
just kidding.
Yeah, they're playing everybody.
Work.
So if you want some wacky preseason predictions, keep in mind that you're getting the Titans ones.
I mentioned this about a month ago, like before the preseason. A lot of teams with first-year quarterbacks, which I think the Vikings pseudo do have, a lot of them choose to play them all the way through. Even in this culture of not playing your players in the preseason, a lot of teams are playing these young quarterbacks. And the Patriots elected to with Drake May last week. So the Vikings actually a little bit counter trend on that. I like it. Like, some people might be bothered that, there's not equity. I like it. I like having to play up to your competition. I'm all for it. So bring it on.
Yeah, I told Tyler, well, the Vikings will be playing 2s and 3s, and his response verbatim, sorry, Tyler, if I'm blowing up your spot, was, good. The Titans need the practice. They are ass.
No, that makes sense. That's all. Also, hey, vindication, Luigi, Italian name, tells me I'm right. It actually is Dutch. Go me.
So Will Fries also Dutch, despite the different pronunciation, or is?
Hey man,
Fries...
you gotta understand that once your family comes to the United States, you roll a dice, and that's your new pronunciation. That's just how.
Yeah.
Once you change the pronunciation to something like fries, you're just American at that point. You lose your heritage.
Right. Real hamburger. Yeah, no, for sure. Show an American a Dutch name. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yep. The lineage is gone. Any other predictions for? I'm thinking. Are we thinking Howell? No. Rippon starts. Brosmer goes next.
I think. Like typically, I think we only see 2 quarterbacks play in the final preseason game, but I think we're going to see all 3. If not, it would be Rippon. No, in my opinion, I would think that Rippon is the least likely to play out of all of them. Not because he's made the team, but I don't know. It just feels like they're not that curious about what he can do, which I guess makes sense.
You want a real bold one? I got a bold one.
Yeah, sure. 3
different Vikings will have a better passer rating than Cam Ward.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Cam Ward did not play well in the last preseason game.
Correct. But that's still
takes look, 2 of 5 and a pick, right? Like 1 bad drive, and then they sit him, and then everybody else does okay. That's what it takes. Because passer rating is a terrible stat, and in small samples, and I'm really leaning on that.
Okay.
But I didn't call it a good prediction. I called it a bold one.
No, yeah, but that's like we just saw Sam Howell play.
Yeah.
I don't think I have. Well, no. How about is it bold to say there's going to be a kick return touchdown? Is that feel bold?
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, that's my prediction because it feels like
if it's Miles Price, is he gonna get hawked again?
Oh God, that's gonna be so funny.
Who else is getting a kick return touchdown? I don't know if Miles Price can run 100 yards without getting caught.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, it doesn't have to be the Vikings, right? The Vikings got gashed by the Patriots, so it's possible that the Vikings are the victims of one, but we also saw Miles Price nearly house one, so it's all there. Maybe they kick it to Xavier Scott.
Preseason fantasy teams. Again, this is what's at stake. Winner gets an advantage in our regular season betting contest. Loser has a disadvantage that will get applied to them by the winner. Luke Inman is blowing us away. 73.6 points, 6-man team. In second place, Luke Braun, who underperformed in week 2, had a good week 1. He's at 51.2. Arif hot on his tail, 50.3. You're just trying to not lose. I'm behind.
It's been my strategy for years now, Sam.
By 10. Just tread water. I'm back by 9.9 of Arif. I did do a little better, though, in week 2. Now, this is the waiver claim portion, starting with the lowest performer. That's me. I get to drop one guy, sign one guy. There's a huge wild card this week. Huge wild card. It's the Mo Ibrahim signing. They've brought in, right. And I hope I say this right, Xavier Valade.
He's been on the team before. He's absolutely been on the team before, I think.
On our team?
I mean, I've seen his name a lot, and so I'm just going to assume.
Yeah, he's around. He's been on and off a bunch of teams and practice squads, and
this is the conundrum I face.
Okay,
because how fun would it be to have Xavier Valade on my team and have him propel me to victory? But also, I fully expect a lot of Trey Stewart. I fully expect some Xavier Scott. I don't know about Ty Chandler, but there's a chance that 3 backs get work ahead of him. So I could either gamble on the quarter to 2 quarters of Xavier Valade, or I could try to find someone on defense that's going to play all 4 quarters. And I think I have found that person, and I think I'm going to go with the safer, higher floor, and that's Dorian Mossy.
Oh, thank God.
The Auburn linebacker. I need 7 tackles. Just get a tackle or 2 per quarter. Dorian Mossy, maybe 1 pass deflection.
Who are you dropping for that?
QB hit. Oh, I'm going to drop Ingram Dawkins.
Okay.
Dropping Ingram Dawkins. So we're going to go with Dorian Mossy, and that sends it to Arif.
Man, I thought you were going to actually take the guy who's going to play the whole game and has been productive. I'm so happy. I'm dropping Chaz Chambliss for Austin Keys, who
that's the move.
Yeah, Sam
Keys has been.
You remember my text? I was deciding between Chaz Chambliss and Austin Keys last week, and I decided to go for upside like an idiot. And I should have just gone with Austin Keys, but he was already. That's why I thought you were going to pick him, because I had already sent you a text saying I wanted him last week, and then he leads the team in tackles this week, and you're like, the safer one is Dorian Mossy. I love you, Sam.
And also a linebacker from Auburn, correct?
I believe so.
Dorian Mossy has not. I would not say he's been bad by any means, and I think he's going to play a lot. I think that the two of them are going to have equal run. And Dorian is looking at his former teammate, and he's saying, I want some of this glory. I want to be like Austin.
I want 1.7 points per tackle in the Vikings Squad Show preseason fantasy.
I'm going to win some degenerate preseason fantasy contest for some podcasters.
The dream of every NFL player.
Let's go.
Honestly.
Do it for the podcasters.
Luke Braun.
I don't think I've gotten a single point out of LDR yet.
Nope.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and drop him, and I'm going to stick with my strategy of being mostly on offense. But the question is, do I take the new running back or Nick Vannett, who is a little... It's going to be Nick Vannett. I think that's a little safer. I'm going to go with Nick Vannett.
All right. I did ask Inman, who's absent, his choice. Inman's dropping Gabe Murphy. Probably a good move.
Yeah.
And he is going with Xavier Valade.
Okay, he's taken.
And that's
cool.
Inman's got such a cushion
if he pops
lineup.
off, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Inman can't possibly lose, and I'm not sure that he can even be passed at this point. I think
need a lot of offers. You need like 2 touchdown Xavier Scott game or something like that, or Ty Chandler.
Yeah. Lucky Jackson probably still plays. Deshaun Jones certainly plays. I don't know about Richter. McGlothern will play. Batty will play. I think that his guys will play. I don't feel like I have anyone who's going to get benched. Arif, maybe with Ty Chandler. So
Ty Chandler.
And you know what, Arif, I'd be worried a little bit about Kobe King too. I'm banking on Arif's guys getting benched, street close mode, and I need all 6 to play.
X Games mode.
I might be in trouble with Ty Felton. He did get a dinger, although Kevin Seifert reported that there's no issues moving forward.
No long-term issues with either of the receivers that left practice early.
Yeah, but that's still like it's just a preseason game. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I could, in theory, right? I could, in theory, drop Ty Chandler and try to grab Tim Jones again, my week 1 dud. But man, that seems stupid, right? That feels really stupid.
Wait, can we do? I thought we couldn't do multiple waiver claims.
No, yeah, we're not. No.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm good. Glad I can't do anything stupid.
Yeah, no, just 1 waiver claim. Those are the teams locked in.
Don't put yourself in a place where you need Tim Jones to catch footballs.
He did it last week.
Sometimes.
And therefore, he will do it forever.
Had to have caught at least half of those.
Channeling that number 14 Stephon Diggs energy. In closing, how about Danny Dimes getting the starting role in Indy and getting like a really good commitment from the head coach and getting the Vikings likely a higher comp pick? Is Danny Dimes going to be good in Indianapolis?
I think
Kevin O'Connell moved on from him. They should have. I don't know.
The comp pick stuff, I feel like it moves it from a 4 to a 4. If you take a look at,
I think it's a 5 to a 4.
5 to a 4 is what
is
a
what
lot of
Cordy says.
Saying, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the reason I said 4 to a 4 is because Cordy's original formula projected 65% of snaps for him, and he's probably saying 5 to a 4, going from like 0 or 5% to 95%. But the original formula, released a couple weeks ago after all of the free agency stuff, was that Daniel Jones would get 65% of snaps, and so he had locked Daniel Jones in as a 4th round compensatory pick a couple of weeks ago. But I imagine if he changes the snap count to 5%, if Anthony Richardson wins the job, then that drops it to a 5. So I guess in some ways it's a 4 to a 4, in some ways it's a 5 to a 4. Either way, it's pretty clearly, unless something crazy happens in the first 4 weeks, pretty clearly a 4th round compensatory pick for the Vikings, which is like a nice place to be.
Yeah, I think it does matter how many snaps he plays.
It does.
I think it's all estimates on what those snap counts are, so we're not 100% sure, but we just kind of want Daniel Jones to keep that job for as long as possible.
Yeah, which sucks because I love Anthony Richardson.
Future Viking.
Fresh start. It'll be good for him.
Mm-hmm.
He'll have his Geno moment.
I think he's a future
moment.
Cowboy.
He's running like a 4.4 at 260 pounds. Just like
isn't he just absolutely a future Cowboy though? That would be such a Cowboy.
He's too good. No, see, the Cowboys do stuff like trade 4th rounders for Trey Lance.
And they grabbed Joe Milton after he had one game against the Bills backups. Yeah.
That's guys that like did something that made Jerry Jones a little excited but aren't like good quarterbacks.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson's I think he's got a future. I think he's got some stuff.
The Cowboys don't have a plan. They just want to do stuff they think is cool. It's like if an 8-year-old were running a team.
In some ways. An 8-year-old is running the team.
Have you watched the documentary yet? Everyone's raving.
No. I watched one clip where he was like, I'm not that big on hiring a coach who knows about X's and O's. And then his son is like, I'm not big on hiring a coach who has charisma. And you're like, what in the world what's going on here?
So that's why we hired Mike McCarthy. That's the perfect Venn diagram of our two preferences. Bill Barnwell projected regression for the Vikings. Let's hold that topic for the next show. We got a no game next week, so we have a lot of time to break this all down. We've got 53 next Monday might be the best show of the year because there's going to be cuts happening live on the show, which means a lot of this.
A lot of the sound. Macho was so concerned you didn't play the sound earlier for Harrison Phillips.
I mean, Macho
good not play the sound for yesterday's news. It's going to be breaking news.
Stuff has to happen in the moment.
Yeah. Like can't overdo, otherwise the sound loses its meaning.
Got to keep it special.
Sam was advocating overusing the sound like 2 weeks ago. This is such a pivot.
I really just want to say whatever bothers Macho Meach. So that's where my loyalties are.
So we've got the Cut Down Show talking about fighting regression, preseason predictions show coming up soon. That's always fun. The most obscure predictions. Will crown a fantasy winner on the next show as well. A lot of good stuff coming up on the Vikings Squad show. It streams on Locked On Vikings. Check out Luke Braun doing that show daily. Streams on Locked On Sports Minnesota. The audio can be found on the Locked On Vikings feed. We do it after the games. We do it Mondays, Thursdays. Care 11 crew joins us on Wednesdays. Thanks for watching, listening, commenting, and subscribing, and we will talk to you next time.